What's up, guys? This is Jake, owner and operator of Grigsby Solutions. I'm out here in Mesa, Arizona, helping out a customer with some problems that they're having with their AC. They were quoted to get a full replacement and wanted to get a second opinion. And the reason I'm creating this video is not only for homeowners to see some signs that you need to call an HVAC technician so that they can come out and take care of this. But we're going to go ahead and go through different things that can be caught by homeowners, but also some things that can be helped with installers as well. So we'll go ahead and go through and I'll show you exactly how to do this right. All right, here we go. So in terms of homeowners, what you're going to want to look for before I even walk in, I can already tell that there's a problem, okay? Right here is what's called your primary condensate line. This goes directly to your evaporator coil pan inside your attic, or if you have a closet unit or something like that, but this is your primary line. As you can see, you don't have any type of water coming out of here. That is bad. That is wrong. That is a sign that you need to call me or your local HVAC technician. If you don't have water out of there, that means that you are plugged. Now, if you take a look up here, you can see that you do have water coming out of this one up here. That is an issue. That is your secondary condensate. That connects to your drain pan. Your drain pan is a fail-safe. It is never meant to have water coming out of it. If you have water coming out of your secondary condensate, you need to call your HVAC technician immediately. It means that you are leaking into your fail-safe. That should never have water coming out of it. It should always be coming out of your primary condensate. So we're going to go ahead and fire some nitrogen through here and clear that line. There we go. There we go. Okay. And that's what that looks like. If you don't have condensate coming out of your primary line and you have it coming out of your secondary line, call your local HVAC technician. That means that your pan is clogged. It should always be coming out of here, never at the secondary. All right, now we're gonna go inside and we're gonna see what else we can find. All right, y'all, so you see here we are up in the attic, and you see right here, this is that secondary drain pan that I was talking about. This should never have water in it. When it has water in it, that means that your pan and primary are failing, which is usually a clog or something like that. So if you look here, you can see it. It's coming out of your casing. Okay, so we're gonna open it up and we're gonna see what's going on with this right here. All right, y'all, now you can see in here how dirty that pan is, okay? So that's why it was getting clogged, is all this nastiness here, okay? So it's finally drained because we cleared the line, but we want to make sure that it doesn't stay clogged. That's your primary line right there. That's where all your condensate should be coming out of, okay? And as you can see, this coil is pretty dirty, so we'll make sure we clean that up as well, because technically this unit is suffocating right now. It's not running at its best function. So we're gonna fix all that, we're gonna clean it up and get this thing running the way it should be. So this one is for my installers. Now, if you look closely, you can see that my water is actually going to the back there. So if we actually put a level on this, we can see that our unit is actually leaning back away from our primary line. We want our condensate to always be going towards our primary line. So we're going to need to move this unit up a little bit in the back, and then if we turn it this way, you can see that it's falling towards your blower. Again, we don't want that. We want it to be going this way, down this way. Not this way, this way. Okay? Always have your coil leveled to drain into your primary line. Okay, we went ahead and we fixed our pitch on our air handler, but what you're noticing here for my installers, that this doesn't have a P-trap or any type of ventilation. And you can see right here on the pan, it says it needs it. You can see it right here on the door, it says it needs it. So twice it said that it needed it, and it don't got it. So we're gonna add one of those as well. This is for my installers. So you see how you have this 8-inch duct coming out the butt end of your plenum? All your pressure that you're pulling from your return, going through your system and coming out of your supply is going straight into that, which is not allowing it to disperse properly to the ones on the sides. When you're doing this, you always want to put your supplies on the sides. So that way, when your air comes through your system, it hits the back of that plenum and disperses to all of your supplies evenly. This is why things like scoops, things like dampeners are very important when you're installing ducts. That way you can work with the dampeners to get more air where you need it, or so on and so forth, and properly tune things to your customer's liking. But this right here coming out the butt end of the plenum, that's not efficient. That's not right. We're gonna go ahead and put that right over here on the side, okay? All right, y'all, so we've added a running P-trap with a ventilation as installation instructions, which it didn't have before. That's going to help the draining process through the primary. We've rerouted that 8-inch with a minimum of 1 inch from top to bottom, with about 1 foot at least from the connection of your indoor fan. We've capped the back so that now that pressure will properly disperse to all the ducts. Now, if we wanted to fine tune this, what we would do is we would put in dampeners, and we could actually regulate how much air is getting into each room and through each duct. But for right now, this will do fine, okay? All right, let's go turn her back on. Okay, so we're right over here at the condenser, okay? You have a split system, then you have your air handler, usually in the house or in a closet, and then it splits off to your condenser. This is what's flowing the Freon through the system, all that type of stuff. Now, we're gonna go ahead and open this up and see if we're suffocating at all, if this could use a coil cleaner. Okay, so just as I suspected, you can see how much buildup has gotten on this coil. This is where your unit is breathing. When it's completely covered like that, that means your unit is suffocating and having to work harder, okay? But this, we gotta clear this. We need to help this unit breathe. It's gonna feel a lot better. All right, y'all, I didn't even realize it, but it's so hot out here that my phone overheated, so I don't know where it cut off, but I got my coil cleaner on there, letting that kind of soak for a little bit, and then I'll spray that out. But I mean, the difference is night and day, and like I said, now your coil is going to be able to breathe. That allows the unit to work a lot more efficiently, and you're not pulling as much amperage, so it should always help with your electric. If you're seeing a high electric bill or something, it will help with lowering the amount of power that's getting pulled and having to be used to work your unit, which of course also causes things to break. You do not have to be a licensed technician to clean your coils. They sell the cleaner at Home Depot. Get yourself a 1/4 or 5/16 bit to be able to get your grills off and everything like that to get to your coil. Start with a blower, blow all the stuff that's loose away. Then go ahead and take your hose, real lightly, wash it down, everything like that. Then spray your cleaner I like to do a 4-to-1 to a 6-to-1 ratio, just to try to get a really heavy duty clean on it, especially if it's been a while since it's been clean. And then I'll spray it down, wait a little bit, let it dry so we don't mess with any of the electrical, put it all back together, and we'll turn it back on. The reason you want to be very careful when you're doing this though, why you might hire a technician to do this, is these coils, these fins and everything right here are very delicate. Even like the slightest little bit of push will bend these, and that's not what you want, because again, you want this thing to be able to breathe. So you want to be real careful. Like if you look down here, you can kind of see a little bend in here, a little damage right here, right? You want to avoid that. So if you're worried about that happening, then I do advise calling me or your local HVAC technician to do this for you. Otherwise, I do believe that most homeowners have full ability to be able to do this. All right. Oh, and make sure that you get the condenser coil cleaner, not the evap coil. This is your condenser coil. Well, the evap coil was the one that we saw in the air handler earlier, which that one has a totally different cleaner. All right, so we've sprayed off all of our cleaner. And I mean, you can see, like, it's just a night and day difference. That unit is going to be able to finally breathe like it hasn't in a long time. That's more efficient. That's better on the system. Oh, and I wanted to say earlier that if you are to do this yourself, make sure that you're wearing your proper PPE. Make sure you wear a face mask, gloves, things like that, because this is a chemical, and you do want to be careful around it. So if you are doing it yourself, just make sure you're doing the proper PPE. Stay away from these fins. Be real careful on those, and yeah, your unit will run a lot better. This thing is gorgeous. So now that unit can finally breathe. That thing's working a lot easier than it ever has in a long time. Again, this is something that you can do yourself. You don't need a licensed technician for this. If you don't feel comfortable, then call me or your local licensed technician. But these are things that you can get at Home Depot, and with a couple YouTube videos, you can figure it out.